So welcome to this session. In this session we are going to see some of the MCQs which is related to mammalian cell and its organelles. Please watch the previous video. Try to answer for the MCQs which will be useful for your exams. So here we have the first MCQ. Energy production enzymes are located in. So we have answers like rough endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria. So which is the cell organelle which is mainly involved in energy production? So you know mitochondria. So the main function of mitochondria is mitochondria is also called as powerhouse of cell, which because it is involved in the synthesis of ATP, where it stores ATP in the lollipop like globular heads. So mitochondria is the one which is involved in energy production, and if you see the structure of mitochondria, it will be like oval shaped structure which will have outer membrane which is smooth and the inner membrane which is folded, and it is called as cristae, and the matrix of the mitochondria will have various enzymes which are involved in the energy production. So that is why mitochondria is the answer here. So the answer for this MCQ is mitochondria. Mitochondria has enzymes which are involved in the energy production. So rough endoplasmic reticulum, the main function of rough endoplasmic reticulum is protein synthesis. Ribosomes is present on the surface of the rough endoplasmic reticulum. That is why ribosomes are involved in the protein synthesis. The main function of Golgi apparatus is packaging of proteins. Once the proteins are synthesized in the rough endoplasmic reticulum, they will be transported to the Golgi apparatus and the packaging of proteins, and they will be stored within the secretory vesicles. That is the function of Golgi apparatus. Ribosomes are attached to, so you know the answer, ribosomes are attached to granular endoplasmic reticulum. So there are two different types of endoplasmic reticulum, smooth and rough endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is also called as endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is also called as granular endoplasmic reticulum. So granular endoplasmic reticulum has ribosomes on its surface. So this is the answer. Protein synthesis occurs in. So the main cell organelle which is involved in protein synthesis is granular endoplasmic reticulum. You know, on their surface they have ribosomes, so they involved in the protein synthesis. Whereas what is the function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum? It is mainly involved in lipid steroid synthesis as well as detoxification. So there are two cell organelle which is involved in detoxification. Please try to remember, there are two cell organelles which is involved in detoxification. One is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, the other one is, yes, it is the peroxisomes. So that is why they are abundant in hepatocytes. True regarding Golgi apparatus, all except. So we should remember the structure of Golgi apparatus to answer for this MCQ. So it will have cis end which will be very close to the rough endoplasmic reticulum. It will be facing towards the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The other end which will ship the packed proteins. So cis end is the receiving end, trans end is the secretory end, and it is Golgi apparatus is the polarized structure, and it is situated near to the nucleus. So the answer is non-polarized structure. So Golgi apparatus is the polarized structure. It is not non-polarized structure. So here what is the question? True regarding Golgi apparatus, all except. So this is the answer. Intracellular sorting and packing of proteins is done in. So the cell, which cell organelle is involved in sorting and packing of proteins? So you know Golgi apparatus is the answer. Mitochondria is powerhouse and it also plays a role in apoptosis, whereas granular endoplasmic reticulum, protein synthesis, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, lipid synthesis, steroid synthesis and detoxification. Which cell organelle is involved in catabolism of hydrogen peroxide, H2O2? Peroxisomes, lysosomes, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria. So mitochondria, as you know, it is a powerhouse and it is also involved in apoptosis. Golgi apparatus, it will involved in the packing of proteins, synthesis of lysosomal enzymes, and Golgi apparatus will also involve in glycosylation of proteins. Lysosomes, they will mainly forms the intracellular digestive system, which will digest the damaged tissues, or it will digest the bacteria. They mainly involved in the phagocytic activity. peroxisomes. So what is the function of peroxisomes? Peroxisomes are involved in detoxification, as well as they are also involved in formation as well as degradation of hydrogen peroxide. So peroxisomes is the answer for this question. Function of Golgi apparatus. So find out which is the function: protein synthesis, transcription, glycosylation, detoxification. So what is the function? Glycosylation of substances, glycosylation of proteins and carbohydrates. It is done by Golgi apparatus. Protein synthesis is the function of ribosomes. Transcription, where the DNA is translated into RNA. So that is not a function of Golgi apparatus. Detoxification is the function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum and peroxisomes. All these are true about mitochondria, except it is the site of anaerobic respiration. Cardiac muscle cell have more number of mitochondria than adipocytes. Mitochondria is self-replicative. Cristae provides large surface area for chemical reactions to occur. So we should remember all the points related to mitochondria. Mitochondria is a site of aerobic respiration. Mitochondria is a site of aerobic respiration. So the answer is anaerobic respiration. All these are true about mitochondria. Cardiac muscle cell will have more number of mitochondria than adipocytes. Yes, because cardiac muscle cell will have more activity, which means it requires more energy because it continuously pumps the blood. So cardiac muscle will require more energy when compared to adipocytes. So they will have more number of mitochondria. Mitochondria is self-replicative. You know, mitochondria has its own DNA. Cristae is the one which provides large surface area, which is the one which contains the matrix of the cristae has many enzymes which are involved in the chemical reactions. So all these are true about mitochondria. So it is not a site of anaerobic respiration, it is a site of aerobic respiration. Main function of nucleus is to control chemical and physical characteristics of the cell, to bring about cellular reproduction and multiplication, to synthesize protein for the cell, to help in cellular movement. So what is the function of nucleus? So it is mainly involved in reproduction and multiplication. So the answer is reproduction and multiplication. Endoplasmic reticulum is associated with all of the following except enzymatic secretion, lipid secretion, storage of calcium ions, glycogen synthesis. So which is not a function of endoplasmic reticulum. So glycogen synthesis is not a function of endoplasmic reticulum. Enzymatic secretion. So proteins are mostly enzymes. Enzymes are mostly proteins. So endoplasmic reticulum is associated with protein synthesis. So this is a function of endoplasmic reticulum. And lipid secretion. So you know, smooth endoplasmic reticulum is involved in lipid secretion. And endoplasmic reticulum, which is present within the muscle, it is named as sarcoplasmic reticulum. It will store large amount of calcium. So it is also a function of endoplasmic reticulum. So which is not the function of endoplasmic reticulum, that is glycogen synthesis. Organelles that is involved in neutralization of drugs and toxins are lysosomes, peroxisomes, rough endoplasmic reticulum, nuclei. So which is a cell organelle which is involved in neutralization of drugs, which means the detoxification function. So here we have peroxisomes. Lysosomes are the suicidal bags, rough endoplasmic reticulum, protein synthesis. Nuclei, again it will have ribosomal RNA. So again it is involved in protein synthesis. Organelle which plays a pivotal role in apoptosis, which is mitochondria. Mitochondria is the main organelle which is involved in apoptosis, which is the programmed cell death. Microtubules are made up of. So they named tubules. Just remember what they are composed of. Tubulins. So alpha and beta tubulin. So we have seen cytoskeleton structure which will have three different types of fibers: microfilaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules. Microtubules are made up of the largest diameter proteins, which are tubulins, alpha and beta tubulins. Microfilaments are made up of actin and myosin, which are the smallest diameter fibers, and then we have intermediate filament fibers which are made up of different kinds of proteins. Here we have the the options actin and myosin. They are the structure which is forming the microfilaments. So microtubules are made up of alpha and beta tubulins. They are also made up of kinesin and dynein, which is actually involved in the exoplasmic transport. The unique feature in mitochondria is it has its own DNA. So actin, myosin, prothrombin, all these are not the options. unique feature of mitochondria is it has its own DNA. Peroxisomes, their structure and chemical composition is similar to that of lysosomes. They destroy products formed from oxygen, especially hydrogen peroxide. They engulf exogenous substances and degrade them. They consume oxygen in large amount, hence the name peroxisomes, which is the answer. So they destroy the products formed from oxygen, especially hydrogen peroxide. I told you peroxisomes are involved in detoxification and they mainly synthesize as well as they degrade the hydrogen peroxide. These two are the functions of peroxisomes. They actually structurally they are similar like lysosomes, but they are not chemically resemble like lysosomes because lysosomes having hydrolytic enzymes, whereas peroxisomes will have catalases and oxidases. Catalase is the marker enzyme for peroxisomes. Which of the following is not a component of cell membrane? Glycocalyx, lipid rafts, cytoskeleton, glycoproteins. Which is not a component of cell membrane? Cytoskeleton. You know, cytoskeleton is composed of microfilament, intermediate filament and microtubules, which is the component of cytoplasm, which is not a component of cell membrane. Cell membrane is made up of lipids, proteins and carbohydrates. You know what is glycocalyx? It's a thin membrane which is formed by carbohydrates in the cell membrane, which actually helps the cells to attach with the other cells, and lipids are there in the cell membrane and glycoproteins are also there. So which is the answer? Cytoskeleton. So this is the answer, which is not a component of cell membrane. Which of the following is the most abundant component of the plasma membrane? Proteins, phospholipids, cholesterol, sphingolipids. So which is the most abundant component? Yes, proteins. You know it is 55%. 55% of the cell membrane is composed of proteins, 40% is lipids, and then 5% is carbohydrates. A group of tissue performing one function is called as cell, organelle, tissue, organ. So you know, group of cells together forms tissue, group of tissues together forms organ, group of organ together forms system, which will perform one function. So a group of tissue performing one function is called organ. So the answer is organ. The chemical contributing to the fluidity and stability of the membrane is cholesterol, carbohydrates, water, protein. So because of the presence of cholesterol, the cell membrane is quite flexible, and because of that only it can change its shape and it can move. So the fluidity and stability of the membrane is by cholesterol. The function of plasma membrane does not include barrier to the passage of certain molecule. Proteins act as receptor for specific molecules. The protein act as carrier molecules, causing cell division or mitosis, which is not the answer. So which is not true about plasma membrane. The answer is causing cell division or mitosis. So cell division or mitosis is not a function of plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is a semi-permeable membrane which acts as barrier for some substances. The proteins act as receptors and their transmembrane proteins act as carrier proteins and channel proteins. So all these are true about plasma membrane. The rod-like bodies formed inside the nucleus at the time of cell division is. So what is the answer? It is chromosomes. So DNA, chromatids, nucleolus is not the answer. So rod-like bodies which are formed inside the nucleus at the time of cell division. When the cell is not dividing, there will be thread-like materials in the cytoplasm, the nucleoplasm, that is called as chromatin. The cell organelle involved in digesting the materials engulfed by the cell by hydrolysis. So which cell organelle will have hydrolytic enzymes? Yes, it is lysosomes. They are involved in the phagocytosis. They will engulf the foreign bodies, and the cells which will have lysosomes, they will engulf foreign bodies and they will digest the materials. So lysosome is the answer, which is not a cell organelle. Golgi complex, lysosomes, mitochondria, cytosol. So which is not a cell organelle? Cytosol is not a cell organelle because cytosol means it is the other name for cytoplasm. Cell membrane in eukaryotic cell is made up of all of the following except carbohydrates, lecithin, sphingolipids, triglycerides. So the answer is triglycerides. Cell membrane is composed of 3 different types of lipids. So phospholipids, glycolipids, and then cholesterol. It does not made up of triglycerides. It will not have triglycerides. So that is the answer. Cell shape and motility are provided by centrosome, Golgi apparatus, nucleus. So which structure is involved in providing shape to the cell, and it will help you in the motility of the cell, that is microtubule. So cilia and flagella, which are involved in the motility, they will have more number of